Most people ignore late-night texts from unknown numbers. Wrong number, spam, mistake, easy to swipe away. But when Keanu Reeves glanced at his buzzing phone and saw a message from an unknown child that read, "He'll kill us, please help," his whole world froze. On the other end was a shaking little girl, typing through tears, begging a stranger to save her family before it was too late. She had no idea she'd texted the one man whose past made him the worst possible person to ask for help, and the best one to receive it. Before we continue, thank you for supporting these emotional stories. Your time, your attention, and your presence truly mean the world. If you enjoy grounded, cinematic narratives with heart and real moral weight, make sure to subscribe and stay with us. It helps more than you know, and it keeps these stories alive. Most late-night hours feel the same in Keanu Reeves' apartment, quiet, dim, and peaceful in a way that only a man who survived too much can appreciate. His living room was lit by a single lamp, barely enough to paint soft shadows across the bookshelves. He'd spent years fighting battles no one knew about, and finally life had slowed down. He didn't ask for excitement anymore. He didn't seek danger, didn't chase adrenaline. These days, he welcomed silence the way some people welcomed warmth. He set his cup of tea on the small table, an old habit from calmer years, and sank deeper into the couch. Midnight was approaching. Outside, Lowe's angels buzzed somewhere far below, muted by walls thick enough to keep the world at a distance. That's when his phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times, rapid, frantic little vibrations that didn't feel like spam or a wrong number. They felt like panic. Still, he didn't check it immediately. He assumed it was some late-night notification, an app, a reminder he'd forgotten to disable. He let the phone buzz again as he reached for his tea. But something, an instinct he didn't like to acknowledge, made him pick it up. A single notification glowed across the lock screen from an unknown number. 5 new messages. His finger hovered over the screen. He almost ignored it. Almost. When he opened the messages, everything inside him snapped awake. The first text was short, shaky, letters typed with trembling fingers. "Help me." He frowned, maybe a prank, maybe a mistyped message. Then the next one appeared, longer, desperate, full of fear that no child could fake. "He's hurting Mommy. Please someone help us. I don't know who else to text." A chill slid down his spine. Then the third. "He said he'll kill us. I'm hiding. Please, please don't ignore me." Keanu sat up fully now. This wasn't a joke. He typed back instantly. "Who is this?" The response arrived before he finished setting the phone down. "My name is Lily. I'm 9. I don't know if this number works. I just picked one. Please help. He's coming back." Keanu's heart tightened. 9 years old, alone, terrified, texting a random number like throwing a message in a bottle into dark water. He forced his voice, steady even in text. "Lily, is your mom alive?" Her reply took longer, 10 seconds, 15, 25, everyone felt like a knife turning. "She's still breathing, but not moving." Keanu stood up. Slowly, controlled, like a man switching from peace to purpose without hesitation. His breathing changed, slow, intentional, the way it used to be when missions shifted from planning to execution. He typed again. "Where are you?" No answer. He waited, another 10 seconds, another 20, his jaw tightened. Then finally, "I don't know the address, but there's a big yellow sign outside the window. It says Vista Auto Repair, and I hear trains." Keanu closed his eyes and pictured the city map. Vista Auto Repair. He knew it. South Industrial District, isolated, bad area, lots of abandoned warehouses, a place where screams could vanish into the walls and no one would notice. He grabbed his keys. Before leaving, he typed one more message. "I'm coming for you. Stay hidden. Don't make a sound. Don't stop texting me if you can." Her reply came instantly. "Please hurry." He didn't waste a second. His motorcycle roared to life beneath him, its engine slicing through the night as he tore down the street, weaving between cars with precision that came from a lifetime of muscle memory. The moonlit highway blurred around him. Wind lashed against his face, but he didn't feel the cold, only the urgency. Lily didn't have anyone else. That alone was enough to turn his blood to fire. As he sped through the industrial sector, the streets grew darker, emptier, lined with warehouses with boarded windows, flickering streetlights, and shadows that stretched too long. Far ahead, a train rumbled somewhere beyond the buildings. He was close. He slowed the bike near Vista Auto Repair, an old, rust-stained shop with a faded yellow sign just like Lily described. The building next to it looked abandoned, its windows covered in grime, the door damaged around the lock. A perfect place for monsters to hide. He parked his motorcycle silently and texted Lily. "I'm outside, tell me what you see." The reply came fast, frantic. "I hear him yelling, he's mad, I'm under the bed. Mommy is in the kitchen, I think she's still alive. Please don't let him hurt her again." His jaw clenched. A child shouldn't know this kind of fear. A child shouldn't have to listen for footsteps like they were gunfire. A child shouldn't have to type those words to a stranger. And Keanu shouldn't feel this familiar heat rising in his blood, the part of him he tried to bury. He typed, "Describe the room you're in," quietly. Another pause. Then, "It's small, blue walls, a broken toy shelf, and a big bed with a blanket that has stars on it. The door is cracked open." That was enough. He slipped into the shadows and approached the building next door. The door wasn't locked. It opened with a soft creak, one he immediately countered by pressing just the right pressure with his fingers, a little trick he learned years ago. Inside, the place smelled of dust and something coppery. He listened. A crash echoed from deeper in the house. A man's angry voice roared. "Get up, I said, get up." A woman whimpered weakly. Keanu didn't need to see to know she was Lily's mother. He moved through the hallway silently, every step calculated. His hands were steady, his breathing slow. The old instincts had returned without permission. At the end of the hallway, a kitchen light flickered. A man stood over a woman sprawled on the floor, her face bruised, her body limp. She was conscious, but barely. The man didn't stop. He kicked her again. "Say you're sorry." Keanu's grip tightened on the edge of the doorway. Not yet. He needed Lily safe first. Another soft vibration came from his phone. A new message. "He's hurting Mommy again. I can hear it, please save her." He typed back, "I'm here, Lily. Which room is yours?" She replied instantly. "Last door on the left. Please don't let him find me." He moved past the kitchen entrance, his footsteps silent, body low, breath steady. He reached the last door on the left. Blue paint, just like she'd said. He pushed it gently. The door creaked. So softly. Inside the room it was dark except for faint streetlights seeping through dirty blinds. There was the toy shelf, broken. There was the star-patterned blanket on the bed. And beneath it, two small glowing eyes filled with tears. Lily. She looked tiny, fragile, shaking so hard the bed frame trembled. When her eyes met his, she froze, scared of him for a split second. Then, recognition. No. Hope. Raw, desperate hope. He bent down and whispered, "It's okay, I'm here now." Her breath hitched like she was trying not to sob out loud. She crawled into his arms, clutching his shirt with tiny, trembling fingers. He lifted her gently, holding her against his chest. "Don't make a sound," he murmured. She nodded into his shoulder. Another yell erupted from the kitchen. "Get up or I swear I'll." Keanu's eyes darkened. Enough. He carried Lily down the hallway, staying close to the wall, making every step silent. She clung to him tighter with every shout, every thud. He whispered into her hair. "You're safe now, I promise." He placed her behind a tall cabinet near the front door, a place the man wouldn't check. "Stay here, don't move. No matter what you hear, I'm coming back for you." Her tiny hand grabbed his sleeve. "Please, don't let him kill Mommy." He touched her cheek gently. "I won't." He stood up, and the softness in him vanished. He walked toward the kitchen with the quiet certainty of a man who had made a decision that could not be undone. The man was still shouting, still kicking the woman, still venting whatever sickness lived inside him. Keanu stepped into the doorway. Hey, the man froze. He turned, shocked to see someone standing there. Someone calm, controlled, deadly without even raising a hand. Who the hell are you? The man barked, grabbing a knife from the counter. Keanu didn't flinch. You need to stop, he said quietly. The man laughed, a harsh, stupid laugh. Or what? You'll cry at me. Get out of my house before I gut you. Keanu didn't step back. You've hurt them enough. Something in his tone, soft, steady, terrifying in its certainty, made the man flinch. You don't know who you're dealing with, the man shouted. Keanu's gaze didn't change. I know exactly who I'm dealing with. He took one step forward. Just one. The man swung the knife wildly. And in a blink, the knife wasn't in his hand anymore. It was on the floor. He gasped. What? How did you? Keanu didn't answer. Because some things didn't need explanations. And some men didn't deserve warnings. The man stumbled backward, staring at his empty hand as if the knife had vanished by magic. It hadn't. Keanu had moved faster than the man's eyes could track, a quiet, controlled motion honed from years he never spoke about, years he tried to leave behind. But tonight, those years had come back with purpose. The man's shock lasted only a second before rage replaced it. His face twisted, veins bulging at the sides of his neck. You think you can just walk in here, he spat. Who the hell do you think you are? Keanu didn't blink. Someone who isn't afraid of you. The man lunged. A clumsy, furious charge, all brute force and no precision. Keanu sidestepped with a calmness that felt almost unreal, letting the man's own momentum hurl him toward the sink. The man's shoulder slammed into the counter, knocking over dirty dishes that shattered on the floor. His anger only grew. You're dead, the man roared. He grabbed a heavy cast-iron pan from the stovetop and swung with both hands. The kind of swing meant not to injure, but to kill. Keanu didn't move until the last possible second. Then he shifted half a step. The pan tore through empty air and the man's arms overextended. Keanu grabbed his wrist, twisted just enough to make the weapon drop with a thud. The man howled as pain shot up his arm. Keanu released him immediately. Not out of mercy, out of control. The man staggered backward, clutching his wrist. Who are you? He gasped. Some kind of ninja freak. Keanu's voice stayed low, steady, terrifying in its quietness. I'm someone who doesn't tolerate men who hurt women and children. The man trembled, but he wasn't done. Some people mistake fury for strength. They think loudness equals power. And this man, this small, pathetic storm of insecurity wrapped in a grown man's skin, believed he could still win by screaming louder, fighting harder, throwing himself at danger with nothing but ego as armor. He charged again. And this time, Keanu didn't step aside. He caught the man's fist in midair. The man froze, eyes wide. Keanu's grip tightened, not painfully, just enough to show a truth the man didn't want to accept. He was completely outmatched. You're going to stop, Keanu said. Now. The man growled through clenched teeth. You can't tell me what to do in my own house. Keanu leaned forward slightly. Then consider this a public service. He shoved the man backward, not violently, but with enough force to send him stumbling into a chair that toppled over behind him. He crashed to the floor in a heap. Before he could rise, Keanu stepped between him and the woman lying motionless on the kitchen tiles. Her breaths were shallow, her pulse faint. Blood stained the corner of her mouth. Bruises darkened her arms and cheek. She looked like she had been fighting for hours, fighting hopelessly against a man who believed she couldn't escape. Keanu knelt beside her. Ma'am, he whispered, can you hear me? Her eyelids fluttered, barely. He touched her wrist gently, checking her pulse. Weak, far too weak. She needed medical help immediately. Behind him, the man struggled to stand. You're gonna regret this, the man snarled. I know people, I have connections, you don't just walk in and... Keanu rose slowly. And for the first time, the man seemed to realize something. Keanu wasn't angry. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't even breathing hard. He was calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that belonged to men who had seen things far worse than this, and had survived them. Keanu took a single step toward him. The man flinched. "Sit down," Keanu said. It wasn't yelled. It wasn't even forceful. It was simply a command spoken by someone who had spent years giving orders that meant the difference between life and death. The man sat. Keanu pulled out his phone and dialed 911. "Emergency dispatch," the operator answered. "What's your emergency?" "I have a seriously injured woman in an abandoned residential building near Vista Auto Repair," Keanu said. "Possible skull trauma, multiple contusions. She needs immediate medical assistance." "Understood, sir. What about the assailant?" Keanu's eyes locked onto the man. "He's alive," he said, "for now." The operator seemed to pause. "Officers and paramedics are on the way. Please stay on the line." Keanu hung up. The man's bravado flickered like a dying candle. She started it," he muttered weakly. "She made me mad, I didn't mean." Keanu crouched down so they were eye level. "Don't lie to me," he said gently. The gentleness was somehow more terrifying than anger. The man swallowed hard. Keanu's tone softened further. "You need to understand something. You didn't lose tonight because I'm stronger than you." The man blinked in confusion. "You lost because a little girl had more courage than you'll ever understand," Keanu said quietly. "She reached out for help. She fought for her mother. She used the last bit of hope she had." He leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. "And she chose me." The man's face twisted with fear, confusion and fury tangled together. "Why, you don't know anything about us." Keanu didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stood and walked back to the front door, where Lily was still hidden behind the cabinet. She peeked out when she heard him coming. "Is he gone?" she whispered. "Not yet," Keanu said softly, "but he can't hurt you anymore." She rushed into his arms, a small, shaking bundle of fear, finally letting herself collapse into safety. He lifted her, holding her against his chest with one arm as he returned to the kitchen. The man stared at them with wide, trembling eyes. Lily's breath caught when she saw her mother on the floor. Mama," she sobbed. Keanu knelt beside her so Lily could touch her mother's hand. The woman stirred slightly, her cracked lips parting. "Lily!" The girl burst into fresh tears. "I'm here, Mommy, I'm here." Her mother tried to lift her hand. Keanu helped guide it. They touched fingertips. And Lily's mother whispered, "My brave girl." Keanu felt something tighten in his chest. This moment was why he'd come. Not to fight. Not to punish. Not to unleash the past he tried so hard to bury. But to protect. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, growing louder. Lily looked up at him with wide, trembling eyes. "Is she gonna be okay?" Keanu kept his voice steady. "She's going to get help now." The man on the floor scoffed. "She's the one who ruined everything, I told her." Keanu turned his head. Just slightly. But the man froze. That tiny movement held decades of controlled violence behind it. "Don't finish that sentence," Keanu said softly. The sirens grew louder still. Blue and red lights flashed through the grimy windows. Within moments, officers burst through the front door, weapons drawn. They froze at the sight. A bruised woman on the floor. A terrified child still clinging to a stranger. A man cowering in the corner. And Keanu Reeves standing between them like a guardian carved from stone. One officer approached him cautiously. "Sir, did you intervene?" Keanu nodded. "She sent a message asking for help, I came." The officer blinked. "She messaged you." Keanu didn't elaborate. Lily tightened her hold on his shirt. Another officer moved to cuff the man. "You're under arrest for domestic assault, attempted murder, and endangering a child." The man started shouting, thrashing, spitting curses into the air as they dragged him outside. His voice bounced through the metal hallway, meaningless now, powerless. Lily didn't even look at him. Her eyes were only on her mother, now being lifted onto a stretcher by paramedics. Keanu followed them outside. Lily tugged at his hand. "You won't leave, right?" He knelt to meet her gaze. "I'll stay until you're safe," he promised. A paramedic turned. "Sir, did she send the text, the one asking for help?" "Yes." The paramedic studied him for a moment, then gave a small, grateful nod. You saved their lives. Keanu didn't answer. He wasn't thinking about saving lives. He was thinking about how small Lily had felt in his arms, how hard she had trembled, how she had whispered, "Please don't let him kill Mommy." She had been alone in that house with a monster, and she had reached for help the only way she knew how, by sending a terrified message into the void, hoping someone, anyone, would care. He stood there until the ambulance doors closed. Lily's mother was stable now, conscious enough to squeeze her daughter's hand. Lily climbed into the ambulance, but before the paramedics shut the door, she leaned out and whispered, "Thank you for choosing to come." Keanu's throat tightened. He managed a soft smile. "I always will," he said. The doors closed. The ambulance pulled away, lights flashing into the night. Keanu stood alone on the street, the cool air brushing against him, the chaos fading into the distance. He looked down at his phone. The last message from Lily still glowed on the screen. "Please hurry." He locked the screen gently, and for the first time in a long time, he felt something stir inside him. Not rage, not vengeance, not the ghosts of a past he'd long buried, but purpose, the kind he thought he'd lost forever. And somewhere in the city, another phone buzzed. A different story beginning. But this one, this night, he would remember for a long time.